Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hayawam Tawab La Atham. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah. To preach you so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Asians, and Israelite foreigners. Chamatham, Kaya, Hamalakwath Hashemayim, Kwa Rab, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, we can go ahead and say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Hakwadash, double honor, said those apostles of great millstone, the tortoise is truth, and rule well, and much respect to you, bros, out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right. So essentially, like it's titled, color representation in the scriptures. Because like it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, and then also First Maccabees, the third chapter and the 48th verse. Essentially the heathen went around the time period of the Renaissance. What they call iconoclasm, or what's called iconoclasm, and went around that and pretty much painted their images. And they did this because essentially Esau understands that Jake has, he's in tune with the sense of sound, touch, smell, and sight, all the senses, because we're pretty much, the Lord gave us the five operations of the Lord, mentioned in Sirach, so Esau understands that we're very in tune with things like that. So he uses what we're good at as a weapon, So could we go ahead and get that? We'll start with the article.
Okay. This is off of medium.com. It reads, color symbolism. Color has a distinct connection with symbolism. Each color has its own connotations and outside concepts connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
This invokes feeling and meaning into each color we see.
Right. So every when we go into creation, everything is colored a specific way for a specific reason. All right. Each nation has their specific color for a specific reason. The Lord created everything for His purpose.
It's like, as is often, some of the most relevant color symbolisms lie in the main colors, the seven of the visible color spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
All right, and it said the color spectrum, because when you go into the word for color in Hebrew, I'm gonna get it real fast. Salak, the word for color is going to be the same as the eye, and it says Salak. And it says ayan, and it says primitive word and eye, literally or figuratively by analogy, a fountain, as the eye of the landscape, affliction, outward appearance, before think best in color. And reason being that it shares a word with color, because you got some in your eyes. It's called rods and cones, and essentially they're the things that can process the information and allow us to see color, so we can process it in our minds. So how this relates to the lesson is because Esau took that and pretty much put his image on the face of the Lord, and then the angels, and then us, as a people, So could you skip down to where it says white, Baba Kwasha? Because his skin isn't white, he's red, and we're brown, He painted himself as white while he painted us as brown. They did it was a show I just watched most recently. It was a documentary, and they said, hey, they told the Jake, they was like, hey, pick up the nice dog. Jake picked up the so-called white one, and they said, pick up the bad dog, and Jake picked up the brown one. And they said, which one looks like you? And then the Jake pushed the brown one forward, pretty much showing you that Esau programs these things into us at a very young age.
Yep.
Specifically, Jake in the world, but this truth, the Lord has opened up this truth to where, it's revealing, this man's lies,
Sorry. All right, jumping down, it says other important neutrals are white, known for innocence, purity, and new beginnings.
And really, the white ones would be the elect. Well, first and foremost, starting with Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, and then the elect, we will be, Adonai Ratazah, we will be the white ones with that white stone, you see. But Esau understands that symbolism. So he painted himself as that. And I got an excerpt real fast. It says, it's out of the book of The Valley of the Dry Bones, and it says, in the process of time, the black man began to believe in the superiority of the white man's system. He bowed to the white man, served him in every aspect of his life, worshiped him as a god, lowercase g. Moreover, the masters painted a white Yahweh Shah and gave it to the black man to serve as a god. As a result, it was easy for the black man to obey and believe the white man without question. In truth, whether some of us want to admit it or not, the white man became the so-called black man's god. So pretty much, that was they covered the faces of the judges thereof, to serve as an image for Jake to bow down to, and that's essentially what Jake and those generations back in the day, they subscribe to that, and the rest of the world subscribes to it as well. Other than the elect, the elect have been woken up.
Sorry, I got a quick one for you.
Okay.
Daniel 12 and verse 9, it reads, "Go and he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." But the point, as you made, right, the elect are those who are being purified and made white, right, going into that term. And they use that, like you said, because they understand the importance of what colors symbolize. So they want themselves to be a symbol of purity, right, even though their actions speak contrary.
Okay. I got another one. This is Job. Since we quoted it, I got Job 9:24. Could you get First Maccabees 3:48?
Mhm.
This is Job. Job 9:24, and it says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He covered their faces. When you go into his word for cover, it says kasa, H3680, and it says to cover, conceal, hide. It says conceal, be covered. And it says to cover oneself, to cloth oneself. So they pretty much, it says for clothing or secrecy. So they put their faces as the images of the ones that were righteous. All right, and then essentially that was them covering it, and then they also hid it, because they had like a vault. They had the vault of the true, I think it was the Russian icons, to where it was just Jake faces, brown. It was all brown. But yeah, we can get that Maccabees.
First Maccabees.
Yeah.
Okay. It's First Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likenesses of their images.
Mm-hmm. They showed us this in what was that movie? They what was it called? The Book of Clarence, where they had the Edomite, and it was painting Yahweh Shah pretty much so-called white. And that was the time period of iconoclasm, in the Renaissance. Which, when you go into Renaissance, it means rebirth, or pretty much for the rebirth of those philosophies that Esau once had. He was perpetrating throughout the earth. That was a time period to where he pretty much was able to deceive the world.
Mm-hmm.
So could you get
real quick?
Yeah, you good.
It's 2 Corinthians 11-14, and no marvel, for Satan himself, which we understand Esau to be the physical manifestation of Satan in the earth. It reads, Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So they present themselves as this holy figure, as the brothers may mention, right? They cover the faces of the judges thereof. They paint their likenesses, right? This is what Esau has done, to trick the minds of the people into thinking he's this upstanding individual, man.
Could you get? Let me see. Could you get? What is it? Psalms 1 and 5. I'm gonna get this. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds." And that pretty much represented a stronghold for Jake. I'm gonna get the word for strong word. stronghold, and it says a castle or fortress, anything on which one relies. It says of the arguments and reasonings by which a disputant endeavors to fortify his opinion and defend it against his opponent. And that's essentially, what Jake does. That's something that they use as a defense, but it's not a true defense because it's not the truth. And essentially that was something that Esau confided behind. You see, but that's a false sense of security.
Right. It's book of Psalm chapter 1 and verse 5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous.
That songs.
Psalms 1 and 5.
Songs of Solomon.
Oh, slide.
Yeah.
It's the Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Yeah. It says, I am black but comely. Jake had a saying back in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. It said, black and beautiful, or, black and strong. They pretty much, Jake was taking a sense of pride in themselves, like around by that time period. But you see, that goes back to the scriptures. Jake always had a sense of pride, a sense of righteous pride about himself, like the laws, everything the Lord gave us a sense of pride about ourselves, because we're people that essentially we love our neighbors, and in order to love your neighbor, you have to know how to love yourself so that can be a reflection on how you would love your neighbor, so you have that knowledge to love your neighbor, so essentially Jake had that sense of community and righteous pride, that's something that Jake took pride in. That's one reason that Esau, essentially put them images up, because he understood that we're a people that experience life, and because we were created with the five operations of the Lord, so Esau understands that we essentially take in everything from our environment. But I'm gonna finish this out. It says Second Corinthians 10 and 5. It says casting down imaginations. You see, because that's an imagination. Again, going back to the operations of the Lord, we observe the reality. We're in tune with the reality as a people. So casting down that imagination of something that's not real. That image, and it says, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, bring it into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. So this truth, the scriptures, it pulls down those strongholds, those imaginations, all right, and it gives us back our sense of being. It gives us back our sense of righteous pride. Because going back to the curses,
Right.
Pretty much it said we would lose our identity. Essentially we're getting our identity back.
Right. And like it says, will be a proverb and a byword,
Mm-hmm.
And like it says in this article, going into the word black or the color black, it says black is known for being a color of death, of power, of mystery, of uncertainty, of distrust, danger, and fear.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what they try to connect to you Israelites, man. Right? That's why they push things in the media, right, that show Jake as a person of danger, right? A person you can't trust. They put these things in the movies and the TV shows. They push this music, right, to show this degenerate behavior because they want that black connotation, right, to represent you, man.
Could we run that back again? Because I want to make another point
Okay.
on songs.
Okay. You want me to read this article back and then?
No, just the songs. Songs
Okay.
1 and 5.
Yeah. So the Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Right. It said black but calmly. When you go into the word for black, it's not actual black. When you go into different languages, it's gonna mean something in a different it can mean a different connotation or something that's and through translation, the word sometimes it can get misinterpreted. So when you go into black right there, it's quadar. Should be it's a lot. I'm gonna go to it real fast. Give me a second. Songs 1 and 5. And that word right there is going to be Ishachar, and it says black. You see, but it says jetty, but pretty much going into the scriptures being written poetically. That's why it says as the tense of Quadar. It's a similitude or a what's it called, a dark saying or a parable. Because Jake comes in all facets of brown. Pretty much that's why I said Quadar. When you go to the tense of Quadar, it was made from goats goat's hair. It was black goat's hair, but pretty much going into the point of we come in all hues of brown. Jake coming looking like almost as dark as ham, and being from the scatter room, we also look like the other nations, But initially in the ancient world, Jake was all facets of brown,
Right. Hey, that word brown, that color brown, it says brown is known for dependability, health, friendliness, simplicity, wholeness, stability, and peace. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like the scriptures tell you, Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's dependable, right? He lived simply, right? He was stable, he was peaceful. These were all characteristics. If we're just going by the colors, right? Black is far from our true representation, man. Like the brother man
Right.
mentioned, shades of brown, and brown has a positive connotation.
Kai. Could we get? I got two more, and then I was gonna close unless you had something else.
Yeah.
Could you get Daniel Outlet chapter 10 and verse 5 to 6, and I'm gonna get Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13, and then that'll be it.
Okay. It's Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet in color to polished brass. And the
Right, it
voice,
said color to polished brass, because it's given the description of the Most High Yahweh, which his name means he exists. Scriptures also say pretty much if you've seen Yahweh Shah, you've seen the Father, so they have the same image,
right. That's right.
That was 6. That was verse 6, bro.
Kind, that was 6.
Okay, yeah. Pretty much going into that's the image of the Most High Yahweh, And I'm gonna get this real fast. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13. It said, or verse 12. It says, "And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks." It says, which the candlesticks that will be a manawara, a menorah, and it says, "And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire." And when you go into a white like wool, essentially going into the texture of his hair. And then also, his hair is going to be white like wool. But when you go into those old dictionaries, like Elder Malcolm goes into, pretty much like if you look at the texture of our hair, it pretty much says woolly, But it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. Essentially, it says feet like unto fine brass. Brass has the color of brown, and it says as if they burned in a furnace, so it will be dark. Like this coffee right here. It says, and his voice is the sound of many waters. So pretty much he spoke with authority. When you look at, could you get a precept real fast? Could you get Psalms chapter 93, Baba Kusha, and should be verse 5.
This is the book of Psalm 93 and 5. That testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever.
It's a lot. Psalms 93 and 3. It says, "The floods have lifted up, O Lord. The floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yet the mighty waves of the sea. So if you was to go and you was on at sea, right? Pretty much like all you hear when you go into sea is yam, which is ya is your hands. You work with your hands. Ma is water. So working water. So when you at sea, pretty much all you hear is shh, like those, and you can feel it. Like in your body. So it's very vibratory. So the Lord's voice is mightier than the waves of the sea. You know, pretty much the Lord speaks with authority. Like if you was to go into a basketball court and you may not hear every specific conversation, but when you walk on the court, you can feel the vibration of those specific voices. So essentially, the Lord would speak with more authority than that. You know.
God.
But yeah, did you have anything else, bro?
Allah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Adonai Tazaza Banaya Apollos, where there's a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wa Adonai Tazah Adam Yashka Wam Tawa. Hey, Lord's will you all have a good day. While we can go ahead and close it out by saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua, Bahasham Chakodashe, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught this truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing this truth with all righteousness. And sincerely, Shalom, Shalom. Hayawam Tawab, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.